Hey y'all, this is John and Christina, FHL Homestead, and we are on the road right now to go get a puppy. Yay! We have all of our kids. Say hi, kids. And so we thought, since today was Friday, and we usually try to record them kind of Thursday night and then release them. That was kind of our plan, but you know how life is. You plan and then you let go and you adjust, move, and go with the flow, right? So we decided that it would probably be easiest if, while we're on this road trip to go get a puppy, that we record this week's Q&A with J and K. What's that? So John and I were talking about what topic would we kind of like to share our perspective with this week, and we did. I mean, we don't necessarily need to always talk about marriage, but it is something that we're very passionate about. We've had a lot of success in, and so this is going to have another one where we're kind of talking about specifically men. And it's a really neat concept that years ago a dear friend of mine kind of found this concept, and I'll link this article where it kind of gives you the gist about what we're talking about today. Not my article. I cannot remember the author at the moment, but I'll link it in the description below, so keep an eye out for that. And it's this concept about the average men and how they kind of can be put into three categories, we'll say. If you've talked to me about this at all, then you are familiar with the concept of it's command man, steady man, and visionary man. And obviously, if you're a Christian, this is God-oriented, where God can manifest his personality into these three forms. And at least this is what the article, this woman who wrote this article, is pretense behind it. I don't necessarily get behind that. I mean, I understand the thought behind it, but I really see, John and I really see the application in men, just in general. And John will do a majority of the talking about this when it comes to on the man side. I'm just starting out because I've done the research on it. So with command man, the idea is you have one type, which is a command man. And if the whole idea is surrounded by, picture a board meeting, right? And so you have your CEO is the command man. He's the man who stands there and he is in charge. He is the CEO. He is the head of the meeting. That man is very often the command man. Now, women, it's okay. We're just talking about men personalities. I'm not saying women cannot be board of directors or CEOs. That's not what this video is about. So bear with me. This video is only about speaking about these three types of men to help us women kind of see what man we are with, and how we as women can love them, support them to their specific needs, to develop them into the men that they are created to be, to help us as women get what we need in our marriage. I hope that makes sense. Just because we are talking about men today does not mean that it is not valuable for us women to hear this advice, because we might be talking about the different types of men, but this is actually for us women. Okay, so I am speaking to you as a fellow wife, knowing where my husband fell into helped me as John's wife love him for him, and by loving him for him, that grew him into fulfilling the needs that I have as his wife. Hope that makes sense. Follow with us. Stay with us through the end. If you have any questions, please, questions or comments, put them below. We're happy to engage, of course. And again, forgive us. The video is probably going to be pretty bouncy. We are driving, as you can see, but I'm not driving, and I'm the one doing the camera recording. So, but anyway, so back onto command man. So your command man, if you are married to a command man, right? The one who's in charge, he's in the room and all of a sudden he's delegating people. Like he wasn't put in charge, but he sure is going to take it, right? These command men just are natural leaders, and they struggle at being in a supportive role, right? So if you have a command man that is an employee, well, he's going to struggle. He's going to be really passionate. He's going to be hot-headed. We may or may not know a couple of people like that. And he's going to be passionate, and he's going to be strong, and he's going to want to lead, and he's going to feel really comfortable being in that leadership role, but may not be put in it. So he's going to be kind of frustrated sometimes. With that, as a husband, what you want to look at with your husband is, if you are married to a command man, they need your submission. They need you to be that woman who would deal with them gently, who'll be incredibly loyal, who will submit to them truly by the grace of God, will submit to this man and will allow him to be the leader, the strong leader, and would submit to that gently. If you are a woman that fights submission, if you are a woman who refuses to bow down to any man, if you are of that personality, great, that's how you are, that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying that's good or bad. That's not I don't have opinion either way. I mean, I do, but it doesn't matter for this video. But if you are that woman, you are going to fight if you are married to a command man, because he wants a woman who will fall under his leadership. And so if you cannot do that, and you will not do that, you will have struggles in your marriage. If you are married to a command man and you will not submit to him, you will struggle. But if you can be a woman who is married to a command man and submit to his leadership and be the keeper of his home and bring him a sandwich when he comes home, make him dinner, love and support him, and submit to him, if you can be that woman, he will have an intense love and passion for you. He will be loyal to you. He will protect you. He will provide for you. He will be your security. He will go to the ends of the earth for you. You will be his treasure. Because of the passion and the leadership and the strength that God put into these commandments, it'll be fierce. If do you have anything on as far as commandmen go?
Yeah, because you don't want to get in between you don't want to get in the way of what a commandment wants. So if you become the thing that he wants, I couldn't even imagine it, because those guys never quit. You know, they're typically workaholics, and can be just extremely goal-oriented, and nothing gets in their way.
Yeah.
So if you can allow yourself as the spouse to a man like that to be the thing that he needs you to be, then what you turn into is the second most powerful person in the world.
That's good. In him, yeah, in his eyes, yeah.
Right. So
that's good. That's good. The next type would be a visionary man. I think out of the three, the visionary man are quite possibly the most frustrating for women, unless you yourself as a woman are kind of spacey, flighty, all over the place, adventurous, whatever. Visionary men, these are the men that have 100 projects that they've never finished. These are the men that will kind of drive you crazy if you want structure. But if you're looking at, again, going back to that board of directors meeting, if you will, right? So we have the command man, he's the CEO. Well, your visionary man, he's going to be your person who has all the ideas. Your engineer, would that be right? The guy who has the plans, the guy who the CEO goes, okay, this is what I want to do. And the visionary man is the one who imagines it and designs it, right? So he's the one who's going to take and he has all these great ideas, and they're great ideas, they really are, but he lacks the ability to be able to see them all the way through. He's going to be, usually your visionary men are going to be the ones who are self-employed. They don't really want to be held down to an 8 to 5. They're your they're your dreamers, right? And so if you can be a woman who is married to a visionary man, if you're married to him, and you can be someone who can kind of let go of the reins a little bit and understand that you have a visionary man and understand how God has uniquely created him to work in this world, and you can kind of take a deep breath and maybe loosen on the reins a little bit, you'll have the most adventurous life. You will be able to just have so much exciting things going on. You'll be able to go on these great adventures, be able to do all these wonderful things. I mean, I've talked to women who I know are married to visionary men, because visionary men are pretty easy to tell. And they talk about the most exciting things. Oh yeah, just yesterday, my husband decided to just get on the bikes. And so we went on the bikes and we drove across state. Like, okay, all right, get it, go for it. That's amazing. And they just get up and they just go, and they go explore, and they do some of the most amazing things. But they can be pretty frustrating, right? Because these are the men that'll have 500 projects strung out all over in the man cave or the garage or the barn, and you're just like, can you please finish one? But again, if you are married to a visionary man, this man's going to lead you down to the most exciting life if you can let loose of the reins a little bit. It's going to be hard to control a man like that. And I know we women, we have a bent to try to control our husbands, but that is not what marriage is about. Do you have anything on a visionary? We know a couple of visionaries that you work with.
Yeah, not anything.
Don't have anything to add?
Yeah, no.
So the third type happens to be what I'm married to. And the article will say stick in the mud, I think is one of the descriptions.
I'm a fathead.
Oh man, I love a good steady man. I really do, obviously. But steady men, so if you take it back to the third type is steady man, if I didn't say that. And if you take it back to that CEO board meeting, you have your command man, who's the one who's in charge. You have your visionary man, who's the one who is designing, coming up with the ideas. The steady men are everyone else. They're the men who get it done, right? So you have one command man, you have maybe one, maybe two visionary, right? So we're looking at the global scheme of things. You have very few command men. You have very few visionary men. Most men are steady men. Most men are the ones that will get stuff done. And so in this particular article, but what I have found in our life and knowing the many steady men that we do know, they do seem boring, right? The world kind of makes it seem like they're just boring. They're ready and willing to just work that 8 to 5, make it work, kind of go down the road and just, whatever, no problem, I'll get it done, you need that done. And they're laid back, and it's beautiful because we need that, but it can also seem super boring. They're not going to be very passionate and easy leaders. John and I went through a huge season of our life where I had to give him the leadership. I know we can be so tempted to go, well, my husband's not going to lead. He doesn't want to. Somebody's got to lead this family, so I might as well do it. And so women, we do it. But I'm telling you, from my experience, I went through a season where I gave leadership to John. Was he equipped for it? No. Was he making good choices? Absolutely not. But that was not my place. My place in our family is not to lead it. It's not. And I'm sorry if that offends you. Sorry if that upsets you. But I'm talking about my family. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your family. That's between you, your husband, and God. And I'll leave it at that. I love you, and I will support you, and I will talk to you. But in our family, my job is not to lead it. My job is to support my husband. My job is to nurture and raise our kids under his leadership. So I had to go through a season where I had to consciously and forcefully and every day, prayerfully, give that leadership to my husband. And we're almost 20 years now together, and I can tell you he's a great leader. And he's a steady man. So it's possible. But you have to know your husband. And so as a steady man, the beautiful thing about being married to a steady man, and most of you are, because most of the men are steady men, the beautiful thing about being married to a steady man is he'll let you be whatever you want to be. He just wants you to respect him. He just wants you to need him. And he wants to support you and love you in whatever you want to do and whoever you want to be. He's not trying to control you or force you into submission. He's not trying to be aggressive or super passionate like a commandment would be. He's not trying to take you on all these crazy adventures, and he's not bored with you when you're not going on it. He just wants to love you for who you are as his wife, support you however he can. And then he wants to work, and he wants to bring home a paycheck, and he wants to love and support his family. He just doesn't want the mess, want the fuss. He just wants to love. I hope that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Would that be accurate, honey?
Yeah. Yep, that is totally accurate. So we have that, obviously being a steady man, I can speak to this one more than the others, but it's...
Sorry, forget my finger. Oops.
It's a difficult concept to understand, but steady men do understand that like, there is no... there's no animosity in me knowing that I'm going to be going to work every day, Monday through Friday, 7 to 3:30 for the next 30 years. No issue with that. That does not bother me, not in the least. Getting up early to do the chores that I need to do so that my wife can manage the home to the best of her ability doesn't bother me in the slightest. And it seems like it's a weird concept to understand, but as the leader of my home, that's my responsibility, is to provide for my wife and my children, whatever that looks like, and happy about. Mm-hmm. I know one of the things that I saw going around Facebook not too long ago that resonated with me on that same front is like, when Christmas time comes around, or birthdays or whatever, but Christmas time is a good example. Like, I don't fuss too much about getting presents. I enjoy my wife getting presents, and I enjoy my kids getting presents and stuff like that, but that's the part of it that I enjoy, is my family being able to enjoy from the hard work that I do every day. And that's a gift to me. Now, if they ought to get me something, obviously I'm not unappreciative, but the gift is the roof over their head every day, and the clothes on their backs, and the food in their bellies for me. And I know that can be boring, but yeah, I don't know. And communication is key on that as well. That's going to be a common theme that you'll probably see throughout any of the videos that we do as it pertains to marriage, is like learning things about your spouse, like things that my wife thought that I would want, but come to find out don't bother me. Was just communication to figure that out.
Yeah, and we'll go through some of those as we go, because like I said, we don't want this to be all about marriage, but it's a passion of ours, and we've learned quite a bit from our experience, and just want to share it with you. This video went a little longer than we normally like to do it, but this was a good one, and I hope you enjoyed it. We really enjoy talking about these kinds of things. So if you have any questions, comments, maybe you disagree with us, that's fine. Please disagree with us. But put it in the comments below. Let's talk. Let's be civil. Let's be friendly, because ultimately we're just people, right? We're all people living this life together. So come, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, like us, and we'll keep these going. I guess we'll see you next week then. All right. Bye, guys.